Matthew, everyday audiophile, music lover, today dog enthusiast. There's no beer this morning just because it is before noon and I'm not about to crack open a beer just for the sake of the video. So instead you get a t-shirt. But today is going to be a little bit slower of a day. So I did have a bigger video planned, but instead of that, in light of the next few weeks, which are going to be either audio group meetups or can jam in 3 weeks, I decided to take a little bit of a rest for today's video. So instead of talking about the original topic, which you'll just have to wait for, we're going to talk about lacquer. So in my last video, I think that was John Coltrane. That was the number 3 release from Supersense. Well, number 4 would be the next one that I talk about. I've actually already talked about it. That was the Gets Gilberto album from a few months back. And it is still lovely to listen to. I still put it on every once in a while and just bask in the glory of lacquer. Instead, we're moving to number 5, which is right here. This is William Steinberg with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. It's a very plain outside, just as everything else is with Supersense. You don't really know what you're getting into until you get on the inside. This is number 21 of 99, so it is one of the original 99 pressings or cuts that they did on the lathe. And let's go ahead and open it up. So this is a 1971 recording of one of the, I would say, most well-known orchestral pieces of all time. So on this 1971 concert, they played Richard Strauss. And if there's one piece everyone knows from Richard Strauss, it is Anleitung. That is the ba, ba, ba. I'd bet you're playing the rest in your head right now. But yes, this is that performance, one of the most well-known and easily recognizable. I think it's up there along with Beethoven's Fifth or Beethoven's Ninth. Any of those probably top 20 performances that are used in movies and TV shows, cartoons alike. So I was quite surprised when I got this, that this was number 21. And that mainly just had to do with maybe the fact that it's an orchestral piece. A lot of people that are ordering these lacquers aren't looking for orchestral music. They're looking for jazz, which is the most of the repertoire that you're getting from Supersense. So in that sense, I was just a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, quite happy that I was able to end up with one of the original 99. If you've listened to orchestral music before, you know what is most important isn't necessarily the texture or the sound staging. Those are important. But what's most important, in my opinion, is dynamics. Your speakers need to be able to go from nothing to maximum volume very quickly and create that sense of scale that you get from a symphony orchestra. This piece is something that I am pretty familiar with. I've played it twice in my orchestral career. I've played double bass for 15 years. And it was really, the orchestras that I in were never quite this well established as the Boston Symphony Orchestra, it was still really nice to hear something that I knew my part for. I knew what it was supposed to sound like in my head. And I think that is the main thing that you're getting out of the lacquer here. Sure, there is a little bit more intimacy. There's a little bit more texture and detail, micro details that you're getting that I don't get from the vinyl version of this that I have in my record storage back there. But what you get even more than that is those dynamics. Because you're getting those micro details, this lacquer shook the room in that opening piece, Einleitung. It was truly, really, really nice to listen to. And I very immediately had to replay the analog to digital recording that I had just to get that sense of scale again and compare it again to the vinyl. Even the analog to digital version that I have that I'm going to put on my website has more dynamic range than I'm getting out of the vinyl record. So I'm not going to read all of these off in German. My German is a little bit rusty. I will tell you my favorite pieces that are on this album. That would be Der Genesende Teil 1 und Der Genesende Teil 2. That is the very end of side A and the first track on side B, if you go and look at the album itself. Those two, I don't know, they just struck different with me, and I was on my phone taking notes while this was playing so I could have them here for the video, and for those two pieces, I just had to put my phone down. Yes, the title track here from the beginning grabs your attention, but it was all of the intricacies in these two, Teil 1 and Teil 2, that just took the show for me. That was my favorite bit. As always, I will have a 30-second needle drop on my website with a link in the description. My recommendation, if you're into classical music, I would recommend picking this up at some time. It is quite lovely to listen to. Or, first thing, maybe get the vinyl. Make sure that you actually enjoy the entire thing from beginning to end. And if classical music isn't your thing, that is totally fine. I'm just here to talk about lacquers that I've purchased that I do truly enjoy end to end. But until then, I will talk with y'all next week, which will, spoiler, be an audio meetup of a system that I've talked about before, but from what I understand has been taken to the next level and has resolved all of the faults that I did find with it initially. So that is going to be incredibly exciting, and I can't wait to talk about it in next week's video. So until then, cheers.